We've all heard the promise, right? Blockchain is supposed to change everything. But let's be real. If it's the future, why isn't it the present? Today, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of what's been holding blockchain back from truly taking over. And, more importantly, the incredible solutions that are finally breaking down those walls.
So here's the game plan. First, we'll pinpoint the one big bottleneck that's causing most of the trouble. Then, we'll dive into the two huge challenges that spring from it: scaling and privacy. After that, we'll check out the awesome new tools developers are using to build the next generation of apps. And we'll wrap it all up by looking at how everything is coming together to shape a seriously powerful future.
All right, let's get right to it. It's time to talk about the one fundamental issue that separates the blockchain hype from today's reality.
I mean, this is the question, isn't it? We hear it could remake the global economy, but you're not buying your morning coffee with it. So what is the holdup?
This right here is the problem. Think of a traditional blockchain like a single-lane highway for the entire planet. Every single car, every transaction has to drive down that one lane, and every checkpoint or node has to process it. You can just imagine the traffic jam when things get busy. This one design choice is the source of so many of blockchain's biggest headaches.
And that global traffic jam leads us directly to our first huge challenge, the scaling problem. Look, if blockchain wants to compete with something like Visa, which handles thousands of transactions a second, it's got to get a whole lot faster.
So, what does this bottleneck actually mean for performance? Well, it means the entire network's top speed is limited by the speed of its slowest single node. See, because every node has to do the exact same work, adding more nodes doesn't speed things up, it just makes the network more secure. And for any app that needs to handle a lot of traffic, that's just, well, it's a non-starter.
So, how in the world do we fix this? Well, one of the most exciting solutions is something called sharding. If you're familiar with databases, this idea might sound familiar. It's basically a divide-and-conquer strategy. Instead of that one-lane road, sharding is all about building a multi-lane superhighway.
And here's how it works. It's pretty brilliant, actually. The network gets split up into these smaller, manageable pieces called shards. Each shard handles just a slice of the total transactions, and here's the key, they do it all at the same time, in parallel. You've got validators keeping an eye on specific shards, so security stays tight. And when shards need to talk to each other, they use a secure system of receipts. The end result? The network's capacity can actually grow as more people join. Now that is a real solution to scaling.
Okay, on to the next big hurdle. And this one is a massive deal for businesses. Public blockchains are all about transparency, but corporations, they thrive on confidentiality. So how do you make those two things work together?
Yeah, exactly. Think about it. A company can't just post its sensitive supply chain data or private customer info for all its competitors to see on a public ledger. It's just not going to happen. And on top of that, they've got to follow really strict rules like KYC, know your customer, which means they have to know who they're dealing with. Total transparency is a deal breaker.
And the answer, for a lot of companies, is the private or permissioned blockchain. This table breaks it down perfectly. A public chain is like a public park. Anyone can come in. A private chain is like an invitation-only club. One organization controls who gets in, who can add data, and even who can see it. This gives businesses all the good stuff, like a shared, unchangeable record for audits and compliance, but inside a walled garden where they control the privacy.
Okay, so we're figuring out scaling and privacy. Awesome. But how do we actually build all these amazing new applications? Well, for that, you need a whole new toolbox for developers.
This quote absolutely nails it. You can't just staple blockchain onto the way we do things now. The entire process, from writing code to testing it to deploying it, it all has to change. We need a whole ecosystem of tools that makes building for a decentralized world just as easy and reliable as building a regular website.
So what are developers actually using today? Well, the good news is the ecosystem is growing up fast. We've got powerful IDEs like Remix just for writing smart contracts. We have frameworks like Truffle that make building and testing a breeze. There are even tools like TestRPC that let you run a mini blockchain on your own computer for super fast testing, and then browser extensions like MetaMask connect it all to the web. This is the stuff that turns big ideas into working products.
And that brings us to our final section, where it all comes together. Because these aren't just a bunch of separate solutions. When you combine better scaling, real privacy options, and a powerful developer toolkit, you start to see a very clear roadmap for the future.
But there's one last critical piece of this puzzle we need to talk about: oracles. You see, by design, a blockchain is a closed-off system. It can't look up data on the internet.
Oracles are the secure bridge to the outside world. They feed real-world info, like a flight delay for an insurance payout or the latest price of a stock, onto the blockchain so that smart contracts can actually react to things happening in real time.
So let's look at how this all plays out. Right now, we're seeing scaling solutions like sharding getting put into place to handle way more transactions. Pretty soon, those higher speeds and lower costs will make things like seamless micropayments totally normal. Next, as oracles get better integrated, we'll see seriously advanced smart contracts that can handle complex real-world agreements. And looking further out, a whole ecosystem of trusted data feeds will let the blockchain interact with the real world in ways we're probably not even thinking of yet.
And you know, this isn't just a tech upgrade, it's a fundamental shift in how we think about the internet. Web 2.0 was the read-write web. We could create and share things on platforms that other people owned. But Web 3.0, powered by all this new tech, is the read-write-own web. It's a world where you don't just use the network, you can actually own a piece of it.
So we've gone from the big problems of scaling and privacy all the way to the clever solutions like sharding, private chains, and a whole new developer toolkit. We've seen how it's all coming together to build a blockchain that's more powerful and easier to use than ever before. So as these old limitations start to melt away, the real question we're left with is this: what will we build? What will this new read, write, own web truly make possible?
And that's a wrap on this explainer. If you found this useful, do me a favor and share it with someone who might find it interesting. And of course, make sure you subscribe for more deep dives into the tech that's changing our world. Thanks for tuning in.